Approaching 4 weeks since Hamas's deadly October 7th terrorist attack on Israel, when more than 1,400 mostly Israeli individuals were killed, most of them civilians, but hundreds of bodies remain unidentified. I recently spoke with Dr. Chen Kugel, who is the director of Israel's National Institute of Forensic Medicine, who explained why it's been so difficult to identify these remaining bodies. A warning now. I'm going to show you some images that are graphic and disturbing. We're showing them to you because they explain something about the abject cruelty of what Hamas terrorists did to civilians on October 7th, and also because it shows how difficult this process has been for families who want answers about what happened to their lost loved ones. Again, a warning of what I'm about to show you. So Dr. Kugel says what looks to be a piece of burnt wood or coal here is actually flesh. And upon further examination with imaging, it reveals 2 sets of rib cages. One of them is smaller, with a wire tying them together. And the conclusion of Dr. Kugel and his team, these are the burned bodies of an adult and a child tied together, maybe embracing. Opening a body bag, Dr. Kugel and his team found these charred remains. You'll notice that these remains are white. Kugel told me that means the temperature was above 700 degrees centigrade, which Dr. Kugel says likely means the terrorists used some sort of chemical accelerant to get that high a temperature. Ultimately, his team concluded these were actually the remains of 2 different people, though there was no DNA to trace. No DNA was left because of the high temperatures, so their identities will never be known. From a different body bag, a CAT scan revealed that there were bones in here, 3 left legs and 2 right legs in the bag. So that meant, Dr. Kugel and his team concluded, 3 different people in this same body bag, and these 5 bones were the only traces left of these 3 people. Maybe in other bags there were other pieces of these people, Dr. Kugel told me. These are very difficult cases to deal with, and I'm about to show you an even more upsetting example. This is a blurred picture from the National Center of Forensic Medicine, and even blurred it's disturbing. This is the burned body of an adolescent girl, and her head has been mostly separated from her body. Now, the forensic experts say they don't know if the separation happened before or after the girl was killed. Still, this happened, and this is the level of cruelty that we are talking about here. Jake Tapper, CNN, Tel Aviv.
There was a little girl, around 8 or 9 years old, and they cut her hand here, over here.
They cut it, or they cut it all?
They just cut it all, no hand. She was still breathing. She was just like shaking. And I performed a tourniquet, but it was her last breathing. Her last breathing. I wasn't there earlier to save her. She just lost so many blood for hours, all by herself. No one was near her even. She was so afraid. Her eyes, all by herself.
She was either dead or in Gaza. And if you know anything about what they do to people in Gaza, that is worse than death. That is worse than death. The way they treat you. They'd have no food. They'd have no water. She'd be in a dark room filled with Christ knows how many people, and terrified every minute, hour, day, and possible years to come. So death was a blessing, an absolute blessing.
מחבלים כל הזמן ירו אלינו אני קיבלתי רציז בעורף, הנכד שלי בבטן. למה? אני בת 94, נשארתי בחיים. והנכדה שלי נרצחה ככה, באכזריות. תמיד אני שואלת, ואני רוצה למחוק את זה מהראש שלי. התעללו בה לפני שהרגו אותה. זה מה שאני לא רוצה כל הזמן, שיהיה בראש שלי.
אנחנו מדברים על כמות אדירה, עצומה של קורבנות. ב-28 שנה שאני נמצא במכון, אני לא זוכר נזק כל כך סטני.
לא הייתה הסתפקות רק בלהרוג, אלא בלהוציא את צלם האנוש מהבן אדם.
תינוקות, ילדים קטנים, בני 5, 6, 10, נערים, נערות.
שנשרפו עד כלות. אבא, כרות רגליים, עם 3 ילדים ואישה שרופים.
המוח לא תופס את זה.
ערימת איברים שהוצאה מכאן ומכאן, והועלתה באש.
זה לא דומה לשום דבר.
יש לנו מקרים בלי ראשים או בלי רגליים, שכמעט זה בלתי אפשרי לזהות אם אנחנו נמצאים מול ילד, מול תינוק.
רבים המקרים שלא יכלו המשפחות לזהות את יקיריהם.
אני לא מצליח להבין איך העולם כולו לא מבין מה הגודל האכזריות שיש במקרה הזה.